So President Trump will host Poland's new president at the White House today.
It comes as Chinese President Xi hosts Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong Un this morning for a massive military parade in Beijing.
Senior White House correspondent Jacqui Heinrich is live at the White House with more. Jacqui.
Good morning to you guys. Later on this morning, President Trump will host the newly sworn-in Polish president to talk about Polish security concerns. They are, of course, positioned on NATO's eastern flank as the war rages on in Ukraine. President Trump said yesterday he's very disappointed in Vladimir Putin for stalling these peace talks, and he said that we'll be doing something to help people live. But his ire was also directed at China yesterday as President Xi held this massive military parade commemorating the end of World War II, showcasing cutting-edge weapons like hypersonic missiles, underwater drones, and a weaponized robot wolf. In attendance, both Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong Un. Trump posted on Truth Social, "Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong Un as you conspire against the United States of America." A little firmer than this message from earlier in the day.
China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
Meantime, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer tried to direct blame at President Trump for Xi, Putin, and Kim Jong Un showing a united front in defiance of the West.
America is more isolated, less respected, wields less influence over the world affairs because of President Trump. When Donald Trump is not running America's economy to the ground, he's been busy incinerating America's reputation on the world stage.
I should correct myself, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, excuse me. President Trump was asked if he had spoken with Putin in the last week in that Oval Office meeting with reporters. He declined to say whether he had, but he said in the next few days we should all be learning more. He also warned that there will be consequences if Putin does not meet with Zelenskyy. So far, that second meeting has not come together, guys.
Yeah, not close. Thanks so much, Jacqui.
Thanks, Jacqui.
Love that Chuck Schumer has to read that. Someone wrote that for him.
Well, yeah, he's always glued to his
paper.
notes. Yeah. But I mean, look, they were trying to send a message with that meeting. If you look at all those people, they're the reason why so many Ukrainians are dying. Look, for example, India, who was there 2 days ago. If it wasn't for them buying oil at 30% of the market price, there wouldn't be anything to fuel the Russian war machine. If it wasn't for China sending all the electronics and dual-use material over to them, they wouldn't be able to fight. If it wasn't for the North Koreans sending literally their soldiers to fight as well as work in their factories, they would still have Ukraine in Kursk. So, and they are providing raw artillery to the Russians who were running out. So that axis of evil is functioning as a wheel.
But the axis is run out of money, and the people are getting very frustrated. Their economies are tanking, and the president held on more tariffs on China when he put tariffs on India because they're doing business with the Russians. It could come very soon. I think the president's view has always been, look, I want peace, and I don't want to escalate things, but the moment I figure out that peace cannot be solved here, then the sanctions, the military equipment is going to be rolled in.
Just for context, the president said the People's Republic of China should officially acknowledge the assistance of the United States during World War II and mention the massive amount of support and blood that the U.S. has given China for its quest for victory. In 2014, the Chinese government declared September 3rd, which was, when this was happening, Victory Day, because Japan surrendered on September 2nd in 1945. So America backed China, assisted them, people paid the ultimate price, and the president is saying, this is how you thank us. You had an interview with Van Kipp from South Carolina, and he said, maybe we should have our own celebration next year. And he said this president has inherited a mess, and he's doing the right things to rebuild our military. And he was the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Army and former General Counsel to the Navy. I think we have a soundbite from Brian's interview with him.
They spend $5 billion on this parade, and their economy is in shambles. Their population is declining. This is what I call communist Chinese fake news and fake history. They downplay the U.S. involvement in what we did to win World War II. They're playing up the Soviet Union. Brian, the fact is that the Soviet Union in the spring of 1941 entered into a neutrality treaty with Japan because they didn't want to have to fight Japan and Germany at the same time. I'd like to see the United States counter this communist Chinese fake history, and I'd like to see us next year have our own celebration of the end of World War II. This president, I think, is doing the right things to rebuild the American military so that we can deal with the China threat and other nefarious characters throughout the world.
China said a main message was China is strong, fears no one, and is ready to take a leading role in the world. The Chinese people are not afraid of violence and are self-reliant and strong. I think the answer would be we're going to give South Korea, allow them to bulk up their military, via Vietnam as well. Make sure the Philippines has never been more ready. They could purchase these weapons. These are decent economies. And then we've realized that there's going to be an answer for every buildup that China does. And North Korea is now in that evil family instead of the Hermit Kingdom. Taiwan has got we have to deliver the weapons to Taiwan that they ordered 5 years ago. We still have not done it, but that's going to be key. You got to make that a porcupine or the invasion will be inevitable.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.